just want to let everybody know that Riker's the number 12 in the rankings. She just...
Alright.
Witnesses tell police that they overheard Danielle ask Matthew Gray to kill her father. Police bring Matthew in for questioning, and under polygraph, he describes what happened that day.
Matt asked Danielle, "What's in it for me?" Danielle told him nothing. Matt said, "Oh, I'm not involved in this thing." And at that point, Danielle said, "That's okay, I'll just get Alec to do it."
Police turn their attention to Alec Egar.
Well, that can't be good. All my cards are upside down today.
I asked him whether he had any injuries on him. I wanted to see if he had any cut himself during assault like this. And he lifted his shirt and showed me cuts across his chest and back that were apparently part of some sort of self-mutilation. They did to each other. He really wasn't comfortable explaining a whole lot of that. And none of them...
Okay, well, now that we've done our 3-card tarot reading, that's not exactly what we were hoping for. Let's get stuff set up, shall we?
But he told us that Danielle has been abused by Billy, and that he himself had been abused at some point in his life. It upset him, and he felt like something should be done about this. He said that Danielle would come and show bruises to him and the other members of the group. Billy did that to her. Police asked a series of questions about his possible involvement in the murder of Billy. Do you have knowledge you killed Billy Black? Do you have involvement you killed Billy Black? The detective that handled the polygraph advised to me that Alec had failed to show deception on each of the questions about whether he killed Billy. And we began the interview.
We are finishing the Pride Month series.
Pretty clear with him that he is the prime suspect. Eventually, he comes with a version of the events that happened, and he tells us that he did indeed stand and kill Billy.
Alec describes the morning he came upon Billy Black.
Alec shows up to the rear of Billy's house and waits on Billy. Alec confronts him. Alec tells him that he's going to stop abusing Danielle. Alec says that Billy reaches for the knife that's on his belt. There's a struggle, and Alec says that because of that, he didn't want to be stabbed. He pulls a second knife out of his pocket and starts to stab Billy in the left side of his head. Alec tells us that he remembers looking at Billy and waiting on him to move or breathe. And when he realized that Billy wasn't breathing, at that point he decided to take his wallet and ran and left the scene. I feel that Alec believed Danielle's claims that she was abused, and he felt like he needed to protect her to some degree.
When you have someone who has had a long history of trauma, there are certain kinds of experiences that will be triggering of their past traumatic experiences. So when Alec heard about Danielle's abuse, it triggered for him his own traumatic experiences as a youth, and the feelings attached to that, the powerlessness and the rage feelings, all of that would have gotten activated in that moment.
I don't know if it was his intention to go up there and murder Billy that morning. That's how it ended up. Danielle claimed that is why she wanted him roughed up, is that he was abusing her. I would push her in our interviews to describe, we need to document this if it's really true, and she could never provide any further details.
I can't find my watch. I've managed to lose that somehow.
I could follow up and document.
I don't know how I keep myself alive through the day. I really don't. Because I never know where anything is.
Prior to Hagerstown, and never found any record of her making claims of abuse with her as the victim.
Billy Black was a hard-working person. Loved his children, his family.
It's great.
He was
And it hurts on top of that. It's fucking great.
on the right track.
Alright, whatever.
Billy never touched her. He would never touch Danielle. I was going through breast cancer, and Billy would go to every chemo treatment with me. He would always stay there with me.
Aromantic. Sorry, I can't see the. There we go.
And a couple months later, I lost him.
This is the end of the Pride series, the final look. I will be doing a variety of looks throughout July that have nothing to do with the 4th of July, because fuck the 4th of July. But yes, I will be doing a variety of looks.
He was unable to protect herself. I think it brought back many memories of his own abuse and feelings of rage, and he wanted to protect her.
In the courtroom, they said that when Alec was younger that he was abused, and they think that he was just trying to help Danielle. Alec got up and apologized, and he said that he harmed a person that was trying to help her, not hurt her. Was trying to help Danielle.
Alec Hager has never said that Daniel Black asked him to kill her, Billy Black. Danielle Black told her friends that her father was abusive. When she was eventually convicted, she admitted that her father was not abusive. She fabricated that her father, who loved her and was very strict with her, was an abusive person.
Alec Egar received life in prison without parole.
The sad part of what we've got here is that Alec Eager, by his own admission, was trying to save someone.
That didn't need saving. That's sad.
So much with what he tried to do.
Danielle Black is sentenced to life in prison for soliciting her father's murder.
Maybe one day Danielle will realize what she's done and be remorseful. I hope she has changed her life and is doing better. If I ever seen Danielle again, I'd ask her why. Why would she have such a thing done?
This is a case of a daughter's misunderstanding of a father's love and the tragic consequences that affect so many lives.
Alienation and adolescent angst can be the underlying causes of terrifying acts.
Get a conversation going. We can talk. I'll talk about pretty much anything unless I feel it's going to be triggering or problematic.
In Augusta, Georgia, a young man's alienation.
Okay, moving right along. We're going to go to the green color corrector. Gotta know who your mom is. I'm sorry you miss her. But I'm probably too young to be your mama.
I was working on Mother's Day night, which was a Sunday night, and we received a call through our dispatch system in reference to a body being found at the threshold of a door. We saw no evidence of disturbance in the residence at all. This was probably going to be more than just a random shooting.
And then we go to yellow color correct.
This year, summer runs wild. From poolside to inside. Fun furniture and accessories that bring it all together.
This summer, be sure to celebrate the stars and stripes. But don't forget about the circles and plaid.
And then the white color correct.
Worth celebrating.
Hello, Emma.
At the Home Depot.
Here, matching bedazzled shirts are worn proudly, and phones are forgotten. Young ones are granted new power, and dad jokes are actually funny. Fireworks paint the sky every night, and hand-holding makes a comeback every day.
And then we go
Anything is
into
possible if you get
peach.
right.
Killing me,
And
Smalls.
that's what makes Orlando unbelievably real.
Time to get your hands on the antimicrobial Scuristylus
It's
sponge.
pretty good, actually.
This is clean. The
Just getting ready for work
signature
now.
design says it's time to throw it out.
Got some laundry done. I've got like 2 weeks of laundry. Like my cat died last week, and I was just start it down, and I was just like super fucking depressed over it. So
An upcoming
I'm a little behind on stuff, but we're getting caught up. It's going well.
Augusta is, it's just a southern town. been characterized as a rather large town.
Ow.
17-year-old.
Y'all give me a second. I gotta feed the cat because I think she's hungry. Hold on.
He's a quiet young
Start, come here.
with
Look.
few confidants.
Mom, I'm gonna give you some food.
Larry, I met at school. We had a lot of the same interests, so we just kind of became friends and eventually best friends. Just hung out all the time. We just had general interests. Larry got along with his mom and couldn't stand his stepfather. His stepfather was always hoarding over him, you do this, you do that. And his mom always did as the stepfather wanted.
With adolescents, a lot of times when there's step parents in the home, especially with the male coming in and more authoritative, then there's fun because now there's this man who's coming in and he's basically taking over.
All right, sorry about that. I'm back.
Larry's life changes when he gets a part-time job.
I just wanted to feed her because, you know, she was hungry.
Gina met Larry at work. That's how they met. Simply co-workers.
Okay, moving on.
She
We
was
have
She
concealer.
was fraternizing with the employees, hanging out with them. If Gina hadn't been his boss, I don't think they ever would have met. Because Larry only hung out with a very small group of people. If they were around, he would talk to them. But he didn't go out and try to meet them.
Larry finds himself drawn to the 31-year-old wife and mother. He begins spending more and more time at work. Their friendship, however, has a darker side.
Being of age, she could provide alcohol and drugs to these kids, give them a place to party.
A lot of teenagers see adults as being inaccessible. She was one of the guys. She liked to hang out. She liked to be there. And they had not had that before. There was lots of opportunity for these guys to feel very attracted to the situation.
She was a provider. She could turn them on to things that weren't quite as accessible to them or quite as available to them.
Gina is married to Kevin Spann, a staff sergeant at the local base. Together, they are raising Gina's child from her first marriage, a 2-year-old boy named Michael.
Her husband, Kevin, was a soldier out at Fort Gordon. He provided for his family the best he could.
But Gina and Kevin's marriage was far from normal.
It was always just assumed that they just had an open relationship, that they were only together so that he could continue claiming them as dependents.
For Larry, though, a whole new world was opening.
17 years old, that was his first sexual experience. That was in a time where everybody was getting picked on if you hadn't had sex by the time you were 15 or 16, you were still getting picked on. He was her lapdog. Anything that she wanted, he would at her beck and call.
And a lot of adolescents, they go through a developmental stage where they tend to look for that motherly figure. A lot of adolescents, as they're discovering who they are, that's really appealing to them.
Gina and Larry make no attempt to keep their relationship a secret.
It was definitely weird. There was a lot of jokes about her being a pedophile. And why would a 30-something-year-old mom be interested in a 17-year-old? I thought Larry was eventually gonna just get dumped, and it was just gonna be the end of him.
Larry simply overwhelmed by everything that's going on in his life. He has the woman who is coming after him sexually. It's hard for him to pull back from that.
Despite their age difference and the fact that Gina is already married, Larry sees a future with Gina's fan.
Larry fell in love with her instantly, and he just started staying with her.
They were pretty passionate about one another, passionate enough to talk about their future together.
A few months into the relationship, Gina tells Larry a secret.
Gina told Larry that she was pregnant. Larry got all excited about being a dad. After about a month or so, Gina disappeared for a whole day.
When Gina shows up for work, she has another surprise.
She came back and said she'd been at the emergency room all day. And she
I got a jar of that. I got a jar of that.
She told Larry that the reason she had lost the baby was because Kevin had raped her. He kept trying to talk her into reporting. But she won't.
The adolescents are in a stage of going from childhood into adulthood, and as that transformation changes, the brain is actually in activity trying to move into better judgment, better moral understanding. So it's very typical for a teenager to make mistakes in their thinking, to not think adequately through something.
Undone by Gina's revelation, Larry is pushed toward the unthinkable.
Larry broke into his parents' house and stole the gun.
He then enlists best friend Chris Bergeron to help.
I was afraid of losing my friendship with Larry, because even with everything that was going on, me and Larry were still good friends.
And the two head for Kevin and Gina's house.
In this part of town, it's within walking distance for these kids, so they wouldn't really have to worry about means of transportation.
We knew he was in the military, but there was never any talk about any special training or him being a soldier that needed to be watched out for.
With an execution minutes away, Chris has second thoughts.
I talked Larry out of it. I basically made Larry paranoid that other people were around, so he wouldn't do it and he backed out.
When an individual goes through something traumatic, being teased as kids, or they leave the family, will often be knocked off kilter by their own mental health. I like to put it that they often don't come back to being okay. They stay afloat and being unhappy with their lives.
Larry and Chris seek assistance, and they find it among their own circle of friends.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Matt, when I first met him, he was bragging about killing someone in North Carolina, South Carolina. So, you know, he had no problem shooting somebody.
This is soft. Excuse me.
Thank you for the follow.
Ultrasoft is now even softer, so you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Selling your car doesn't have to be hard. Jumping the Grand Canyon, hard. Mastering the art of Kung Fu, hard. Battling supervillains as a magically transformed yellow bunny, hard. Getting an all-night offer from CarMax, that's easy. Get a real offer on your car in just 2 minutes. CarMax, car selling reimagined. See Minions to Rise and Rule, only in theaters, rated PG.
Hello, the Apex Wolf. Thank you for the follow, Apex.
When it's time for college,
thank you for the
College
likes.
App helps you answer the most stressful question. How? As in, how are you going to pay for it? With a student loan that can cover up to 100% of your costs. And how do I know I've got the right loan? With online tools to help find rates and payments you can live with. Not to mention, just
I'm
all
good.
it's going to
Just
take.
getting ready for work.
At College App, it takes just 3 minutes to apply and get an instant credit decision. How's that for helping you breathe easy? Visit collegeapp.com and apply today.
Matt Piazzi brings his friend Gerald Horn into the conspiracy.
The idea of group psychology is that the more people there are in a situation, the more that it diversifies their responsibility of being in that
I know what I'm
group.
doing. I have a black eye liner. I'm special today,
Chris makes
apparently.
an important decision.
Too many people getting involved with this. I felt it was going too far, so I backed out.
With Chris out of the murder plot, Matt Piazzi and Gerald Horn set out to finish the job.
Gerald Horn and Matt Piazza had gone out to Old Waynesboro Road on Saturday night, the night before Mother's Day. they got scared and they just absolutely didn't go to the door.
Wow, that's special.
They shot the house from the street.
Hearing of the shooting, Chris Bargeron was torn about whether to alert the authorities.
I didn't want to be a brat. At that point, I was just like, okay, it's done, it's over with. Nobody's going to be stupid enough to even try it again, so there's no point.
But Chris was wrong.
I was working on Mother's Day night, which was a Sunday night, and we received a call through our dispatch system in reference to a body being found at the threshold of the door. Gina and Larry found the door open, found Kevin's body.
Well, you're in the right place. I'm pretty friendly for the most part, unless you do something that you shouldn't do.
The residents going back to a convenience store to make a 911 call. We identified who he was almost immediately based on the wife showing up at the scene moments after I did. Gina was disheveled. She was visibly upset. We saw no evidence of disturbance in the residence at all, so we really didn't feel like robbery or home invasion was a motive. It seemed like it was just a knock on the door and a shooting. When we observed the victim's body, he had a gunshot to the head and a gunshot to the upper torso. We had learned during the brief interview on the scene with Gina and Larry separately.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Larry was Gina's live-in boyfriend. They had met at one of the local fast food restaurants where they both worked. He lived in the Merrill home right under the nose of Kevin Spann, who has now been shot and killed in the doorway of this Merrill home. This was probably going to be more than just a random shooting.
Police attention turns to Larry Kelly.
We start piecing things together as far as what may have led to the shooting.
Under interrogation, Larry tells the police something so shocking, it spins the investigation in an entirely new direction.
Based on the inconsistencies that we learned at the crime scene, we wanted to conduct a more formal, separated interview with Gina and Larry.
Gina seemed to be his back on, and when they separated them, I would suspect that it would be very difficult for him to stand up to the questions without being able to check with her first.
Statements were too scripted. They wanted us to believe that they went A, B, C, D, and they had a time for every stop. Once Larry realized that this was not going to go away, then, of course, he gave us a full statement.
Police are stunned to learn that while it was Larry and Chris Bargeron who hired Matt Piazzi and Gerald Horn, it was done under the explicit direction of Gina Spann. Gina Spann was the driving force behind the murder of her own husband.
She manipulated the adolescents at a very impressionable period in their lives.
Based on Larry's testimony, police investigate Gina's car.
Inside of the automobile, hidden in the trunk, were Kevin Spann's insurance policies. Gina had promised Larry Kelly, Bill Horn, Matt Piazza, and Chris Bargeron a profit from the insurance. There were a couple policies, I think one was $300,000, one was $200,000, and she was going to give these kids $5,000 apiece. There were some speculations that Kevin was tired of Larry Kelly living in the Merrill home and that he was going to possibly file for divorce, and that is why Gina wanted this thing to take place as soon as it could, because had he divorced her, she would not be, I don't think, entitled to as much money.
To me, in our society, money is a trump card. So I think for these teenagers, the enticement of money, it's hard to control.
When there's drugs and there's sex and there's money, people tend to make decisions that they truly later do regret.
She offered me $15,000 if I would do it. I told her I wasn't going to do it.
From the course of interviewing Larry, we actually got the name of Matt Piazza and Gerald Horn. Gerald Horn handed Matt Piazza the firearm.
I put that in the backpack today.
And then once they knocked on the door and the door was open, and then they ran. And they ran to the area on Tobacco Road, buried the gun, called a cab. When we went to the motel to question Matt Piazza and Gerald Horn, once they opened the door, we knew, it was over. And that's where Piazza told us that the gun had been buried off of Tobacco Road. It was a Taurus 38 snub-nose revolver, and of course once we recovered it, it had 2 spent rounds. Matt Piazza, a young man of his age, and he acted like what he had done was no big deal.
Based on the testimony of Matt Piazzi and Gerald Horn, police circled back to Chris Bergeron.
I was asleep at my house and got woke up by a lot of banging on the doors. Cops told my mom they had to take me down for questioning to get downtown, and I thought it had just something to do with they figured out the shooting as far as someone shot the house, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's dead. I was scared. I didn't know what really was going on. I asked for a lawyer. I actually gave them the plea deal. I told them I would take conspiracy for 5 years.
Larry Kelly, Matt Piazzi, Gerald Horn, and Gina Spann are all serving life sentences. Gina's son Michael now lives with his aunt in Illinois.
There's so many issues that lead into teenagers making bad judgments. All these guys seem to come from very insecure background. They all are kind of lost souls in a way, lost boys trying to figure out their way. And Gina was a very motherly figure for them. She became a guide for them about how to do things. Gina was able to lie and deceive and to draw people into her web of what was going on.
After the birth of her son Michael, Gina had undergone voluntary sterilization. She had never been pregnant with Larry's child.
I didn't hear about the fact of her not being able to have kids until after her sister talked to the investigators. I guess her statement was that she couldn't even have kids.
She had pushed and manipulated to get what she wanted. She doesn't have the ability to...
Okay, and that is the Aromantic Flag. Make sure you join me tomorrow to start off July's makeup looks. And also True Crime and Makeup Friday. We don't want to miss that. We're doing Lizzie Borden. Yeah, we're doing Lizzie Borden, so be sure to be here for that. I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, make good choices, and be good to yourself and to others. Bye.